happened, but firsthand, that was not my experience. So I can't hold other white people accountable for something that they didn't do, have any control over, wasn't even there.
Right. And
I think,
I
okay.
totally understand what you're saying. So what I'm saying is,
See, the thing is, they're still living
hold on,
Anchor,
hold on, sir.
We're
Hold
going
on.
to round panel again. Alex, please land your plane really quick because
Okay.
I know new people are here. I want to hear more perspective, and I do want to Anchor to be able to address some things. So please land the plane about moving forward. Me personally, I am a progressive person, right? What I did last year, I may not want to do next year. I don't want to be reduced to just my race. I would like people to acknowledge that I'm probably educated. Maybe I can be funny from time to time. I want to have more characteristics instead of my race.
Right. And I totally understand everything that you're saying. But what I kind of fall back to is that we know that racism still exists. And that's what I talk about, the acknowledgement part. Acknowledge that it's still a thing. It's still prevalent in our society. And not just tell us that we need to get over it or move on.
Okay.
It's true, but can we admit that, like, you guys aren't as oppressed that like you make it seem?
I can't hear you. You cut out. What was that?
I just want to, so you guys agree that you're not as oppressed as you make it seem.
When you say so,
well, we weren't talking about oppression.
Pink, I think it's important. Have you heard me say I was oppressed?
No, and I don't.
Okay,
I'm just saying in general.
So when you say you guys, right, we got to stay away from that. If you want to address something that someone said, hold that person in court for what they said.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true, but you're the only person
Pink,
that is a double standard, bro. Okay.
Pink, hold on. I have never once mentioned that I was oppressed. I have never once mentioned anything about what you referenced. So instead of saying you guys, now what you're doing is you're grouping us all up and saying we all have the same thoughts, right? And just like you don't want black people to group y'all all up and say all white people are racist, right? We have to stop doing that because that's when we start to have friction.
Yeah.
My bad.
You see how that it's okay. It's totally okay. We just have to be more cognizant and understanding of people as individuals instead of as grouping them up and stereotyping them. That's the problem with.
You gotta think about it first before we speak. You gotta think.
Okay, so
you know what? Don't generalize. But guess what? Don't generalize on the other side too. The thing is, she's believing something's racist. Don't believe she's racist. Okay, just believe.
Right.
No.
But conservative, did I ever give you the impression that I thought he was racist?
No. Because she wasn't talking to you. She was talking to the what's the guy's name? Alex One. His statements were.
She said you guys. So when she said that, I wanted to make sure.
Because she might be from Jersey or she's from New York. Because that's how we talk. Use people. You know what I'm saying? When you say that's how we it's not being racist.
Conservative.
It's just how we talk.
But conservative, notice that even if somebody may say something that I'm not necessarily in agreement with, I never attacked her about her race. I never yelled at her. I never was rude to her. I just explained it. And I think sometimes if we take the time to explain things, we can stop having such a combative nature with one another. Just take some time.
And it gets us to check ourselves. We got to check ourselves.
No. I understand that. I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
But at the same time, let's not be instantly triggered. You know, when she said
conservation, that's being uncaring and sensitive.
I think at this point, I'm going to give you a minute on the clock, but I think you seem a bit triggered, thinking I was triggered.
Can I speak something
weird? Go ahead, Josh.
Yes. Let me say this. Come on, Conserve.
I'm actually being
Conserve. She let me talk, bro. Calm down. Hold on.
You're right after because we do have new people that's going to get a minute. But go ahead, Josh.
Listen. We all where we at on our levels in life. And we've all come from a place where we just blurt out things and we don't really think about it. We just talking on autopilot. When certain people hear things said, there are people who are more sensitive than others. There are people who are more evolved than others. So that means when we talk, we are consciously saying things. That means we are careful with our words. Some of us are not. And then y'all say we're triggered. Yes, we're triggered because we are more evolved than you, and we comprehend it better than you. We feel it more than you, and we know it's wrong based on what you just said to us. If a person is talking that person is who you should address. And that's it. If she's talking or I'm talking, I expect you to come at me. Call me by my name. Because I'm who you're talking to. But when you group us all in that one thing, that will cause offense. Because now other people are like, what? I ain't say nothing. We got to think, y'all. Come on, y'all. We got to think.
Okay. I agree. I think it's just important, right? I'm not going to say all black men hate black women. That's just all they know, because I don't know. I know maybe this person does or maybe that person, but I can't say we all. So let's just try to be very cognizant of how we talk to one another so we can keep the conversation productive and that we can be respectful, because I don't want anyone being disrespected and I don't want us disrespecting other people either. And that even goes for myself. Some people get on TikTok and say, I'm the host, I can be rude. No, you can't. If you have any type of class or standards for yourself, you should carry yourself appropriately at all times. But conservative,
Thanks, Efren.
Let me give you a minute on the clock. We have Dewan, A-Town, Adam is here. So everyone, let's listen for just a second. We'll open panel again. Conservative, you got a minute, babe. Go ahead.
Listen, I'm loving what I'm hearing on this channel. No, I'm not triggered. I'm passionate. And I'm passionate about a lot of people are missing or passing each other because they don't take time to actually listen to what the other people were saying. You know what I'm saying? It's like they hear these little trigger words and they get triggered. It's like, but you got to listen to the full concept of what they're saying. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm from Philadelphia. I lived in DC. I lived in Virginia, Maryland. I lived all over everywhere. I'm now in the Philippines. Guess what? I just listen and hear. I go on vacation all the time, and it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and I've never had very little issues, racial like outbursts and things. But at the end of the day, be like, whatever.
Okay.
You just gotta take time to listen to meet people where they at, and then you talk. You know what I'm saying? Don't get instantly triggered and become hostile and start putting out ad hominems and things like that. Right. You know, that means ad hominems is cursing people out. Yo, you're no, you ain't gotta do that. Just be peaceful. Say what you say. Absorb what they say. Have a conversation. Have some drinks. Hug at the end. Dive into the swimming pool.
Conservation. That's your word. I don't know his own name, but that's your world, bro. Like, you got to understand, we're all our own planets on our own, bro. We all got our own.
Let him answer the prompt real quick, because I'm a little confused on the stance. So, as far as the prompt goes, in your honest, most humble opinion, do you think sometimes we may have double standards?
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Definitely. Without a doubt. Listen, I say I'm from Philadelphia. Because I can say my neighbor would do something, and then the neighbor next to him or her would do the same damn thing, and look at that. Like, you just did that shit yesterday. You know what I'm saying?
But if that's the case, we both in Philly. I'm from Louisiana, but we both in Philly. You know how it is when somebody say y'all, people say, why y'all do this? One person does something, we be like, why y'all always like this? The first thing will come out of my mouth is say, who was y'all? We gonna do that, bro. That's what we do. You in Philly, bro. You know what's up.
You missed my point altogether. That's not my point at all. You missed my point altogether. I got a neighbor who. Yes, you did. Oh, yes, you did.
Bro, I just reacted to your point earlier. It was exactly what the point you made.
Brother, you missed my point.
You were talking about words. You were talking about words and how we talk to each other.
You just missed my point altogether. I got a neighbor.
Bro, go the fuck on, man.
Who criticizes somebody else.
You being a fraud, bro.
Who's from a different race, and then does the same damn thing the very next day, and like.
No, I think he was referencing when we were talking to Pink.
Before, bro.
Remember when we were talking to Pink and she goes, well, why do all y'all think that?
Like, I think, bro.
And then you said, well, based on where I'm from, sometimes we say, why all y'all? And we don't really necessarily mean all. We just mean that person, but it's a form of expression, right? He was referring to that.
Yeah. No, but that's why we have. That's why I think it's important that we can sometimes have an open conversation. Like, we have to over talk each other so we can have a decent conversation because we're not in each other's face. You know what I'm saying? So, because like that call, like I was talking about one thing and he came in, I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? Oh, I said that 15 minutes ago. What?
Okay.
Battle me, meet me where I'm at that time, and we can have that whole conversation.
But I'm trying to bring you up. I'm trying to bring you up, though. I don't want to keep you with you. I want to bring you up.
Go ahead.
That's it.
Okay.
I want to bring, if I respond to you and a person addresses a matter, it's not that we're trying to be chaotic or dispeaceful. Honestly, that can be our peace if you just
Okay.
say things to us properly and correctly.
All right.
No.
So
Yeah, yeah,
hold
yeah.
on, real quick,
That's what I'm
y'all.
saying
Hold
though.
on, hold
But
on.
can we
We
do
got
this? Can we
hold
do
on.
this?
Let's do open
Go
panel
ahead.
in just a second though, because we still have people I want to acknowledge. So, Jawan, you have a minute on the clock, love. Tell me your thoughts.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest problems is honestly what people just see on social media and what's been put out there by the media. Like what stuff Pink was saying, like you see a lot of us had no clue what the hell she was talking about. But I feel like a lot of stuff that you see on the media is you think that's just what it is, and because you saw a couple people on a video do something, and you're like, oh, that must be what it is. Like the whole thing sitting at a table. I can tell you experiences where I worked with people. Well, a white guy was literally racist, and then the other white folks told us he was racist. He don't want nobody sitting at that table. No black folks was talking about each other, saying, "Oh, we don't want no white person at our table." Like I feel like that's just no. And then when it comes to that double standards, I'll say yes to a degree, but one is slightly understandably so, and it ain't to the same level, just due to the oppression. But even then, I don't think anybody going and burning crosses on people's yard, on white folk yard. You know what I mean? So it's not on a level. Maybe I can see some prejudices, but there's different levels of racism.
Okay, and I'm glad you mentioned that. Once we get to the panel, I want to ask a specific question just to get
That's a
some
good
insight
one.
on what y'all think. A-Town, you're next, love. Let me give you a minute. Oh, okay. Let's move forward. Anchor, I know you had wanted to say something earlier. I hope you didn't lose your train of thought. Anchor, are you still with us, babe?
Yeah, I am. I did lose my train of thought. I'm listening to everybody else, and I'm getting a better understanding.
Okay.
And
So, okay. Alex had said something earlier, and I noticed that you wanted to respond, and then you really didn't have an opportunity. So, did you want to move forward, or did you want to respond to something that Alex had mentioned?
So are we talking to me?
For Anchor, he had wanted
Sorry.
to say something earlier, but he really didn't have the chance.
oh no, I lost my train of thought. I
Okay.
agree with you. I did lose my train of thought, but I'm just listening to what everybody else is saying.
I
Okay.
do
One
have
thing,
something to say though.
Okay, babe, go ahead.
Okay, so for me, I do feel like I do have a trauma thing with white people that kind of causes me to have a prejudice towards
Yes.
them. It's not enough prejudice to make me want to hang y'all or enslave y'all, but it's enough to make me not want to be too close. I would say that it's not right for like I was 6 years old when I first learned about slavery and I was watching the movies and stuff. Those pictures of hanging bodies and white people standing in front of black hanging bodies, cheesing in front of pictures, it traumatized me. It did.
Okay.
I just can't look at them and not see that picture. And it's wrong for me to look at them like that, but I was so young when I learned about it. That's something that you think is a fairy tale. Like something that you
Like a
think would never,
nightmare.
like a horror movie, like something that should
Right.
never ever happen, and it happened. And you can't tell black people to like skip over that. And the fact that y'all trying to wipe it from history is even more concerning. The fact that
Well,
I feel
Nor,
like white people.
let me
I'm sorry,
first
I'm a
recognize
little
you.
passionate about that because that's a big
I
topic.
know,
We
but
hear
you know
you.
what? Let me recognize you for being so honest and open and vulnerable because that takes a very unique, strong person to do that. First off, so first, let me give you your recognition, and I can totally understand how infuriating and tragic it is because I've seen similar photos, and it is like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe this actually really happened. But what I want
Yeah.
you to remember is not one person right now was in those photos, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to, I
that
cannot,
no,
hold on a
that's still
second,
living.
Anchor.
Ruby
I
Bridges is
can't,
still living.
Anchor,
That's and that's
interrupt me.
another issue I
Hold on,
have.
hold on. But what I want you to always remember is this, right? Especially for people our age or in our age area demographic, none of those people were there.
But some
Just
of
like,
them are still alive though. Like
but
I
they're,
understand
okay.
that. I do understand. I get what you're coming from. It's not like I have a prejudice where I can talk to them, I can work with them. I'm just not going to invite you over to my crib. I'm not finna be your best friend. That's kind of where I'm at. I just think that some of them are still alive. like some of them racist people are still alive, and they have taught that to their children. So I need to be old before I can let it go.
So
I'm
when
not
you're
saying
talking about hatred and racism, unfortunately, that will never leave, right? Because until people change
yes.
their hearts, it will never leave. People may smile in your face today and secretly hate you. We don't really know how people truly feel about us. We can only be
And
responsible for ourselves, right?
yes. And the unpredictability of white people is kind of like, are you racist? Are you not racist? I don't have time for that. I don't want to be
Okay.
like, oh, she's the cool one, and then all of a sudden she's not. You know,
But I get you, but let me ask you this question.
I don't get it.
Do we ever really know someone, even if they're white, black, Mexican, Asian? Can we ever say we truly, truly know someone? Because
that's
people
true.
have crossed me from my own community, and
That's
that I
true.
thought for sure would never do that.
Okay.
So you're
Yo,
putting too much
Neos.
responsibility on yourself to try to have good discernment. Because at the end of the day, even Satan was a great liar.
And I'm not
Yo,
saying I don't mess with white people, because I love their sense of humor. They have a different sense of humor from us. They're cool people, but I feel like it's too deep in me for me to get too close. Like to
Okay.
get too close to them, it's like you cool, but
Let,
Not cool enough kind of
But
thing.
what
yeah.
about
And it's not like I hate y'all. I don't have no hate for y'all in my heart. I just don't know.
You can't sit with us.
can
Yo,
I,
no,
can
we
I,
totally get it.
can I speak on
Like I
this?
had like
well?
my one of
Pink,
my first best friend, first best friend was a white girl. Most of my most the white girls that I tend to gravitate towards are the ones that the white people don't like the alternative girls, the ones that kind of seen as weird
Yeah,
in their
yeah,
own
yeah.
community, because they kind of
okay.
understand how we feel. So I
White people
just
hate me, bro. I feel like we'd get along.
Well,
We
yeah,
get
I
along.
see your picture. You look just like my high school friend.
Aw.
Can I give you a movie though? Have you ever seen the movie The Skeleton Key, bro? That shit gave me nightmares when I started looking into it. Yeah.
okay,
I
so
mean,
let me ask you this.
okay.
So, Pink, you had spoken, and then I know Alex wanted to say something. Anchor, does anybody want to respond to what Nor said, but with respect, right? Because let's respect each other, right? Does anybody want to say anything in reference to that, to what she shared with
Yes.
us? Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to say something
Okay.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sound like she's a racist. She doesn't. She sounds like she a racist. Like she would.
Well, hold on, hold
It
on,
sounds like
hold
she a
on.
racist.
But
It does. It's just.
conservative, but hold
Go
on.
ahead.
Remember, it's okay to voice your opinion, but let's not offend her, because one thing I can say is I respect her for being open and vulnerable. The problem is when people don't really tell you how they feel, when shit gets sticky, right? That's when shit happens because it's deceitful. Her expressing what
Come
is her
on.
vulnerabilities and what she's struggling with, that's not necessarily her being racist, but she's sharing from experience how she feels, and she's sharing that with us in a very respectful way. So let's not disrespect
No,
her.
I got.
And
I got all
I get
that.
what
Okay.
you're
No,
saying.
no, I got. No, I got. No, I got your host. But I'm saying
Okay.
I didn't call her. I didn't call her one. It says it sounds like she is, because I understand what she heard, where it came from, where it stemmed from. She saw the pictures. Okay, she saw
See,
the
the
photos.
thing
She saw
is,
the movies.
the thing
Okay,
is, you think
let
I'm
me
racist.
wait,
I feel like
Nor,
racist.
Nor, let me address
Okay,
you.
okay,
Let
go
me
ahead,
address
go
you
ahead.
back,
Nora, baby,
please.
give him a minute, and then I'll let you respond, and everyone can kind of tag team before we move into dating. Because after this, I want to talk about dating. But
Okay,
conservative, go ahead, babe.
so yeah, I mean, I understand where it stemmed from. I give 100% to that. I understand where it stems from.